fine. That's great.
Wait. All right.
All right.
So, okay, guys. Hey, anybody who's popping in, you're welcome to jump on in here. I want to introduce to you Miss Brindley Tucker, who she's absolutely fabulous. And when I look at people who just, I wouldn't say expert because it's always a hard thing to be an expert at mindset, but if anybody could get as close as possible, it would be you. Like watching what your story has turned into is awesome. And I think the biggest thing is that you care at a really high level, and that you hold people accountable to caring, which is really also something that I love about you. Like you make me smile when I see you. I want to hug you when I see you. Like you just, when you talk about the whole giving economy stuff, like this is the life that you live, which is no better perfect person than to talk about it than you.
Oh, thank you so much, Randy. I've got him totally fooled, don't I, guys? So like Randy said, my name is Brindley Tucker, and today, you know, Randy and I said, what's the most valuable things that we can bring to you guys? I'm talking to teams all over the country. I'm talking to small business owners all over the country. And there's one thing that is the common theme, and that's mindset. And so what I wanted to do today was give you a tool, two tools, actually three, sorry, that's it, 3 is my max, that you could use not only for yourself, but that could help you with your clients right now. So the first thing I want to start with, and you may have seen this before, so it's just always good, right? The average person needs to hear something 16 times before they remember it. So we probably have at least 10 more to go, right? So what I want everyone to do is to draw a circle. And what I'm going to call this is I'm going to call this the story wheel. Okay, so in the middle I can write story wheel. So here's how a story wheel works. About the 1 o'clock, I want you to write something happens. Okay, something happens. And then at 3 o'clock, I would like you to write has a reaction. So has a reaction. Okay, so something happens, has a reaction. Right around 4, 5 o'clock, I want you to write judgment. So we have something happens, has a reaction, judgment. And then what I'd like you to write at the bottom is I'd like you to write new story. So here's what happens, guys. Something happens. So I'm going to use the example of where we're at right now, right? We have, let's say, a massive pandemic, right? So we find out that we have a massive pandemic and most people have a reaction. Now, for some of us, that's, okay, cool. Let's just pivot. For a lot of people, though, it's fear. They have a reaction of fear. And then what happens is they go into judgment. So they start going into judgment and saying, okay, if we can't get to the grocery stores and we're on lockdown and we can't buy and sell houses and we can't do this, the world's gonna end. I'm gonna go broke. My house is gonna foreclose. All of these terrible things are gonna happen. So I sit in this judgment long enough to create a new story. And now my new story is that I'm not gonna survive this. I'm gonna go broke. I'm gonna be in debt. I'm not going to be able to afford my house. And so now we've created this story in our mind. And then the next thing we do is we go over here and about the 7 or 8 o'clock, I want you to write collects evidence. So then what we do is we go on to our computers and we call it clickbait. We go on and we start looking at Fox News. We start scrolling our Facebooks, we see stories of these homeless people that are losing their houses. We see how many people are losing their jobs. And we go, yep, see, it's all happening. My story, all those things are coming true. So then once we've collected enough evidence, we've created a new reality that we're now living in. Now, for a lot of people, this whole process can happen in about 60 seconds. We can have a reaction, go into judgment, create a new story, collect enough evidence to create a new reality in a very short amount of time. So where does the work have to be done? The work has to be done here in judgment. we have to prevent ourselves from going into judgment. We have to get into curiosity. We have to start asking questions in order to reverse our story, to make sure that we don't go into story. So if we get into curiosity, right, and we start asking questions like, okay, what can I do to not have my home foreclosed? What can I do to not have to lose my job? What would it look like if I didn't lose my job? You know, and I've been on 3 calls today, and I haven't had a single call that in the last 7 days has had less than 500 listings come to the market or less than 500 buyers go pending. So the question isn't, or the judgment isn't, there is no business. The question is, why are they getting the business and I'm not? That gets us into clarity and changes our story. Now, let's say you have someone that's already in story. They're already there. They're deep into the story. They're deep into their reality. Then we want to work on reversing the story. So here are a few questions that can help you reverse someone's reality and someone's story. Number 1, what would you like to see happen in the end? What would you like the outcome to be? So start with the outcome. Awesome. If that's the outcome that you want, next question is, what do you need to change in your thinking and your behavior to achieve that outcome? In order to have that happen, what thinking and what behaviors do you need to change? And then the next question is, next time that judgment or those thoughts or those behaviors creep up, what are you gonna do to stop it? What measures are you gonna put in place? Are you gonna call Randy for a pep talk? Are you gonna call your accountability partner? Are you gonna read something positive? What are you gonna do to stop that from happening? And then the 4th question, what will you experience if you're able to reverse the story and have that outcome? So number 1, what outcome do you want? What would you like to happen? Number 2, what do you need to change in your thinking and your behavior to achieve that outcome? What steps are you going to put in place to overcome the obstacles next time they happen? And what will you have achieved, or what will you feel once you've achieved all this? So that's the story wheel. That's an easy way to check yourself and say, where's my story right now? What am I telling myself? Fear, remember, is false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. So what are you allowing that's false to show up as a reality in your world? The last thing I wanted to give you, so the first part of this was story. And the second part of this, so that's what helps you up here and reverses mindset. The next piece of this is our self-talk. There's a great book by one of my, where'd it go? Called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. It's like this big. You can get it on Amazon, Kindle, all the good places. And what this book talks about is it talks about the way we talk to ourselves. And there's something so powerful in this. During the first 18 years of your life, if you grew up in a fairly average, reasonable, upbringing, no really major trauma, addiction, none of that, but just a normal, average, positive home, you heard the word no 148,000 times. So 148,000 times, your brain was programmed with the word no, which led to negative programming, which led to negative thoughts, which is now leading to negative results, right? And so what we want to do is we want to reverse the self-talk, and there's 5 levels of self-talk. The first one is the level of negative acceptance. And some of you might be in that right now. This is the place of, I can't do this. I can't get through this. I can't list. I can't buy. I can't close. I can't. This is the most harmful level of self-talk. So what happens is because we speak it out loud, our subconscious mind picks up on it and we start to believe it. And so what you want to do is bring awareness around your I can'ts or your I'm nots or anything that is taking you into a negative place or a negative behavior. The second level of self-talk is the level of recognition and the need to change. So this is going to be your I need to do this. I should do this. I ought to do this. But this is dangerous because it recognizes a problem, but it creates no solution. So you're still feeding yourself problems. So that's level 2. Level 3 is the level of decision to change. So we now have awareness around our I can'ts and our should be's. We're recognizing, so we're moving from negative to recognizing the behavior to now we're going to make a decision to change. And these statements are I never, I no longer, I'm never going to say I can't again. I'm never going to do this. So what this does is this is the first time, the first level that's starting to work for you and not against you. Because now you're coming up with the solution and you're putting it in your subconscious mind that you're going to make a decision to change. Level 4, 2 more levels. Level 4. Level 4 is the level of better. The level of better. This is the I am statements. There are 2 words. No 2 words when put together are more powerful in the English language than I am. And this is why we start our affirmations with I am. I am takes your I can'ts and turns them into I cans. So what statements are you saying to yourself every day? I am a listing machine. I am a money magnet. I am a provider of value. I am taking mind share so that I can take market share later. I'm shifting my mindset. I am a mind master. I am a mind ninja, right? What are the I am statements that you're feeding into your subconscious mind in your mind right now? And then level 5 is the highest level, and that's the level of universal affirmation. It is now what I am. It is, right? I am and it is. It is this way. I have become this person. So level 1, negative acceptance, get out of it. Level 2, recognition and need to change. You know you need to make a change. Level 3, now you're starting to get into decision making, right? You've made the decision to change. Level 4, you're going into I am, right? A level of better you. You're visioning what you are next. And then level 5, you're becoming it. Now more than ever, we have got to pay attention to what we're putting into here and what's coming out of here. What are we saying to our clients? What are we saying to ourselves? What is it? Garbage in, garbage out. Garbage in, garbage out. Positivity in, positivity out. And right now people are craving it. So I hope that helps. Reverse the story, change the self-talk, be aware of self-talk. And yeah, Randy, is that I hope that added some value.
It adds a ton of value. I actually like this. So we talk about, what you just went through, that positive, negative. I talk about that in a sales class all the time, right? Because we get into this mode of believing something other than what is true. Like that, oh my gosh, I'm not going to do good. Well, then now I feel like I'm not going to do, and then I act like, so it's I love this. But I'm going to go back to the story wheel was really good because it fleshes things out a little bit more for us to know the very next first step that we can take is this one. So if we were looking at, and that's judgment if you can't see on my screen, guys, but when you look at it, for us to be able to understand, like, we got to control that judgment. Like, think about all the people right now who their version of the story that's being told about what's happening is based off of all the crazy randomness, and yet we have a moment to be sane for them. We have the moment of sanity that, like, what happens if we recreate this moment for everybody who is getting in the spin cycle? That was awesome because I want one thing that I can do now. And this is perfect. This is, every single one of us can do this right now in everything that we're doing today.
Yeah. So it's almost like write down the stories you're hearing, right? Be prepared for them so that when you get on the phone and you hear the story, you can reverse the story, right? So I was on with a real estate attorney yesterday. They do real estate closings up in New Hampshire, and she was freaking out. right? The agents are panicking. No one's closing deals. And I said, Rachel, do you have access to your MLS? And she said, yeah. And we just pulled up the numbers. And when she saw how many homes had been listed and how many homes had been sold, it blew her mind. She never thought in a million years that many had been moving, right? Because she was in judgment that everything was crashing. When I reversed the story, now she got fired up and we were able to move into a conversation of abundance.
Yeah. Well, and gosh, for me, when I look at it, and one of the things that we're doing all the time, Crystal handles this, is that every day we end the day reporting out our numbers so that our agents can see the story that's actually happening, the story's actually being crafted. I'm asking them to, like, regardless of what's happening around us, man, go out there and what used to be just normal, like post when you receive an option fee check. Got my option fee check today, still moving. Post when you're showing a home. Show this house, still moving. Post when you're closing. We always like to make the great closing pictures, but like now's the time to be able to, like, hey, got 5 appointments today. Like everybody, they will look to us as professionals to tell the story. And if we're telling the story based off of what's actually happening, they will react in that way because now the truth is evident. So I love it. This is perfect for me. I really appreciate it. So we had a couple of issues. I know you don't know this, but as it was going, Facebook kind of crashed a little bit. So I've got this recorded. I'm going to post it in our forum. I know that you have access. Send us a link for that book. I would love to be able to make sure.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. You're wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later.
Bye, sweetie.